Okay, in this video, I'm going to show you how to render AO with transparency inside Redshift. Okay, so let's create like a simple leaf, and I'm going to assign its Redshift material as per normal. So this is my leaf shading, and I'm going to put my file texture into that. Okay, so this is my leaf texture. So if I open, okay, so let's go back to Photoshop. I have to make sure like this is set correctly. Okay, so this is my leaf was supposed to look like. So I'm going to save it again, and I'm going back to my Maya, and I'm going to refresh. So this is my leaf look like. And if I render per normal, right, this is what I get. It does not have transparency, so we need to set up the transparency. Okay, so again, I'm gonna put the alpha. So this is my alpha. Okay, so basically this is just a image of that leaf with black and white picture. Okay, and render, I should get the transparency. Okay, now the problem will arise when actually rendering the AO. Okay, so I have the leaf render correctly if it's in a diffuse or beauty mode. Okay, and if I do AO, so let's select everything, right, and then assign the AO material, right. So I'm going to create Redshift. So let's call this like AO shading. Okay, and I put my ambient occlusion, and save this picture, and your render, you see the leaf suddenly will become a plane. Okay, and again, that's because like there is no alpha being put into that. Okay, so the next logical step, you probably would assign some new material to that, right? I'm gonna call this like leaf AO. Then you're gonna put the opacity, right, or maybe the alpha in this case, right, and you go back and you're gonna put AO in here. Okay, so you have one AO for the ground and the other normal object, and one AO for the leaf with the alpha inside there. And again, if you render this, save that one, and okay, you'll see like there is another issue coming with this render. Okay, the Redshift material cannot render AO with transparency. Okay, so that's why like you need another way around to render the AO. And again, if I look very close, so maybe I have to put this like that and render again, you see like it's rendering like the whole entire plane, okay, which is incorrect, because now you should have some leaf cut out, right, and the shadow shouldn't be like the plane. Okay, so what you want is that the shadow following the leaf cut out like this, right, along its border of the leaf, not like the plane. Okay, which is incorrect. So again, before you understand or try this out, you should go back to Blackboard and understand how the Sprite node work. Okay, because we're going to use the Sprite to kind of like incorporate the AO material inside there. Okay, so we need the Sprite node apply first. Now again, I'm going to create another plane. So this one we're going to use the Sprite, so make sure like it goes up a little bit. Alright, and again I'm going to use the Sprite this time. Okay, so it's very different from what we're doing on this plane on the left. So this one will have the Redshift material, but for the one on the right, I'm going to put the Sprite. Okay, Redshift Sprite. Now, inside the sprite material, you can put another shift material. Right, so in this time, I'm going to create a new one. Okay, and again, I'm going to repeat the process. Okay, so I'm going to have to put alpha for this sprite. So I'm going to put the file here, and I'm going to put this one as an alpha. Right, just black and white picture, and then put the value all the way to 0, and then let's see what we get. Okay, the alpha, or the shadow rather, it follows the leaf shape. So this is correct. This is something that we want. Okay, it looks gray because we haven't set up the ambient occlusion yet. So we have to stop the render, go back to its material. Alright, go to its shader, click here. Okay, and you have to put some ambient occlusion there. Okay, so again, I'm going to create a new one. Okay, so now everything's set up properly, and I'm going to render. Okay, so the difference between the plane on the left and the plane on the right is that the plane on the left does not incorporate redshift sprite. That's why, like, when you render using the ambient occlusion, the result is incorrect. Okay, the shadow or the AO does not follow the alpha shape. Okay, so it will just looking at this object as a plane, as rather than a leaf. Whereas if you use the sprite node, okay, and then inside the sprite you put the normal material as it is, then it will obey the alpha that you put inside as a file. Okay, and that's how you use the sprite to kind of like help you the rendering of AO with its alpha. Okay, so before I finish the video, I'm going to show you the graph for this sprite. So I'm going to my Hypershade. Right, and I'm select this one, and I'm going to show the graph. Okay, so this is my sprite node, and again I put the material inside there, and after that I put the ambient occlusion. Okay, and in here I also put my alpha. So what you have to do, just use the sprite and right click and assign to that. Okay, and if you compare this to my plane on the left, alright, so let's select this and that. Alright, it's different. Okay, so the plane on the left, it's using this one, doesn't have a sprite. Okay, and the result is incorrect. So you need to be very careful when you're assigning alpha with object that has transparency. And if you have a different type of leaf in your scene, maybe like 5 different types, you need to create like 5 different sprite nodes for each individual leaf. Okay.